Brian Moore, one of my, I don't want to say long lost because we haven't been lost, but it's been 22 years since I've seen your face, man. This is actually fantastic. How are you, man?
Doing well. Just excited, man. Still just taking us in.
So do you, how often, like, I want to talk to people because obviously I'm in Northern Michigan. People who you're going to share this with have no idea who the hell I am and why you're on this podcast. Basically, I have a podcast. We're Army buddies, and I have been wanting to get you on the podcast just to talk and just to reminisce
Oh yeah,
for the longest time. But you're also running for magistrate. Is it Raleigh County,
Raleigh County,
West Virginia?
Sir Walter. Uh,
Raleigh. I said that right?
yeah, I mean, I said it with the hillbilly Southern twang, and you had the UP in
So you said it correctly.
it. Negative.
So, real quick, man, let's talk about. It's been a long time since we've talked, and I want to know kind of what you've been up to and where your life has taken you since you got. Did you do 3 years? 4 years?
Did 4 years, 3 months, and 27 days.
Yeah, that put you out. When did you get out? 2000?
2001, July 2001.
Yeah.
Talk about an odd time to get out.
When 9/11 happened? Were you close to going back in? Were you getting a family going at that point?
No. I was waiting to get recalled. It was the kind of deal I made with my mom. Like, hey, I'll wait till I get recalled. And Charlie, talked to Charlie.
Charlie Collier?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember talking to him at that time, and he was talking about getting recalled, but getting commissioned, which I think he's now captain, maybe if not major by now. And I remember talking to him, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put my plan together, and use the maturity that I had. Like,
Yeah.
a lot had changed. You guys left for Korea, and like another group came in. Like, I remember your replacements came in, and somehow I just got stuck at Polk. And I was over.
Look, I don't know if there's worse places to be stuck. I mean, there probably is.
Yes.
Than Fort Polk, Louisiana. Which, by the way, we had the funnest job in the
That
world.
was the greatest
We had the
job
funnest job in the world.
The greatest job at the toughest conditions. Like, can you, like, just June?
Yeah.
Like, doing that mission
mean,
in June was horrible.
For those that don't know, we were in the first of the 509th. It was a very small airborne infantry unit in Louisiana, and our basic job was to train up and act as third world militia against big infantry units, 82nd Airborne, 101st Ranger Battalion, and 2 weeks out of every month we would train with them and kick their ass for 2 weeks out of every
Pretty
month.
much. I mean, guerrilla warfare
Yeah.
at its best.
Yeah.
And I found that I use so much of what I learned during that period.
Like what?
Just
Give me a good
getting
example.
paid. Just having limited resources. So I have to break it down. Like, every buck has to have a bang. Every squeeze has got to get juice.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I couldn't afford to buy every billboard in the town. Okay, so I become the billboard. Like, I look up at this beat up fender that I haven't played. I'm like, you know what? We're going to paint it blue. We're going to make it fun. We're going to put 22 stars on it to represent 22 veterans.
Yeah.
And put "We Are the People" and go be a human billboard. And to me, that's something you learn in fieldcraft. Like, okay, because I mean, look what we were up against.
Yeah.
And to be successful, you had to be creative. And what other job was E4s and PFCs in the field leading other people? So we learned leadership real early, real quick. And if you think back, we had to learn it in a way that there was consequences. Especially I can remember being an E4 and a team leader in the field, and like, I'm not going to get a PFC lost. Like, I'd never hear the end of it. Like, So I mean, that's a real world consequence, when you're 23 years old leading somebody. Like, I make this dude
Yeah.
walk another mile, like I might catch a beating.
Yeah.
So you learn that leadership, and learn a very important lesson to always have input from others.
You really do. It gives you a really good sense of being able to adapt. Like you said, improvising and adapting. I think those it gives you a real sense of being able to do that.
And that has been tremendous, because I'm in the same race I was in the spring, and it did not get resolved.
Yeah, real quick, talk about that because I know you're running for magistrate of Raleigh County in West Virginia. First of all, you're gonna have to tell me what a magistrate does because it's one of those things.
In the quick,
And then explain why you were running earlier this year and how you're able to run again because I don't know if people are confused by that or wonder how that's possible.
people are confused. People are adding to the confusion, want the confusion. But that's okay. Like we were talking about, we know how to adapt and make it work. First off, what a magistrate is a lay judge.
Yeah.
Think of lines of like Judge Judy. That would be magistrate cases. I think she was actually, I forget where she is originally from, but that's the role of it. You're doing small civil claims under $10,000. You're doing bonds, initial arraignments, and everything's just laid out for you. You have these guidelines that you need to go with. When I started working for the Supreme Court, I worked for West Virginia Supreme Court, and that's who the magistrate courts fall under. I noticed a lot of inconsistencies. And I'm not saying people weren't doing their jobs, but they were just simple inconsistencies in bail and misdemeanor sentencing. When you have two people for the same crime and one's getting $25,000 bail and the other one's getting $250,000, there's some explaining to do.
Well, I think that since I've known you, again, it's been a long time but I really got a real sense from you in the year and a half that I knew you and interacted with you on a daily basis that you really believe in fairness and you really generosity and fairness. I think are just two words that that's your right and left brain,
and that's what I've based everything on. Fairness is not always justice. Justice is not always fair. And knowing that, and knowing my community the way I do, I've worked in almost every social capacity dealing with the population here, and see the struggles firsthand and from aspects people rarely get to see. I've worked everything from children's shelter to housing homeless veterans, supervising sex offenders, juveniles, taught special ed in a middle school. That was an eye-opening experience, and that was right there kind of made me realize that I was not meeting my potential. And what can I do to meet my potential? And I see, okay, magistrate, that is right up your alley. You are a criminal justice nerd. Like, I have to watch how I say it. Like, I've got to dumb it down, or I can give an hour lecture.
Hey man, we got time.
Yeah, exactly. I won't do it.
Get all chatty.
And I'm saying, well, this is perfect. And the magistrate who vacated the seat came up on ethics violations. And I think this might have been last October. And I go to my dad, who is retired Beckley PD. He was a 2-term sheriff, and he is the current county clerk. Well-respected guy, just awesome man. Like, even if he wasn't my dad, like, he's different. 6th Special Forces Group. I mean, he was a Green Beret in the latter 60s.
Right.
I mean, he's next level. And I said, Dad, you know, I know if this guy's coming up on violations, he's done. The Supreme Court's had a horrible history of misconduct and just horrible. So I thought, well, here's my shot. And I let my dad talk me out of it. and like, he made all great points, and the decision's yours. And, you know, the biggest thing is money. Like, the capital you need to run, and it blows my mind the amount of money people are spending for a county level position. It's mind-numbing. And then taking that consideration and knowing I would not get that kind of support in time, I put it on the back burner and thought, you know, we'll see 4 more years, see where we're at. And ran into a buddy, and he said, you know, this lady just moved back, and started seeing her. She's a doctor. She took an early retirement, moved home, and she's running for magistrate. So I thought, awesome. You know, if somebody with that kind of background, that, you know, surely that they'll be able to conduct themselves in an honorable way. Saw the picture and thought, good, you know, I don't feel so bad now. And then I'm in Kentucky at a friend's gathering, and they look at me, and they're from Beckley, and they haven't lived here for since. And they look at me and says, why aren't you running for magistrate? I'm like, well, they got this doctor. You can't beat that kind of money. And then told me who she was. And less than honest would be putting it very lightly. She has made claims after claims, and I was just sick to my stomach.
What kind of claims? So explain to me exactly what you're, because I'm out of the loop. Obviously, I'm in Northern Michigan. So come at me like I'm a layman.
She claimed to be a doctor, MD.
Yes.
Negative. Not in South Carolina, not in West Virginia, nowhere. She claimed to be a coroner in South Carolina. She was a coroner, but she didn't finish her probation period because of discrepancies. So that's a polite way of saying she lied on her resume. This comes out in the newspaper. I mean, it's fact. Like, it's there, black and white.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm out of that loop.
Yeah, and I'm just, I'm mad that she lied to one of my buddies who was a training partner, and now she's lying to, she moves back and is lying to this whole county, and here she is going up against an incumbent magistrate that is facing ethics violations. The closing period to file and be on the ballot had closed. On a Friday, the city magistrate resigned and said that even if he won, he would not take the office.
That was the incumbent.
Yes. She has a free and clear path. She just has to beat someone that resigned. Thankfully, the period to enter as a write-in candidate, meaning your name's not going to be a ballot, people's going to have to write you in. And I talked to my dad, and he's like, it's the right thing to do. I said, you're right.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the right thing to do.
And knowing that I have the background, the character the honesty to do it. But knowing it was a write-in candidate, it snowballs chance. In full well knowing that, but I couldn't let her just walk away with it.
No, I mean it's really honorable on your part. I'm a firm believer because there are some people that you say they'd make a good politician, and then there's some people you'd say they make a good public servant. There's a real distinct difference, I think, between politicians and public servants. Politicians lie on their resume and get nailed with ethics charges. Public servants do it for the community. And I don't know, man. Seems like you fall into the ladder.
Yeah, that's how I'm made. That's how I was raised. I'm my biggest critic. I can't lie to myself. I can't justify things. And sitting here and knowing I could have an effect, which thankfully we did, because the resigned incumbent won the vote. I feel by me entering, took votes from her. Same hometown. I mean, she grew up a mile up the road. So I think that was kept her from the win. And it went to the judge, the chief judge, a circuit judge, which is a court above. It was up to him to appoint a magistrate. For whatever reason, he did not want to touch it. And took resumes. And at that point, I was just flabbergasted. I looked at my wife. I was like, I never thought I would be filling out a resume for a judicial position in West Virginia. Like, where are we now? This is just insane.
Yeah.
This is not Lowe's. This is not a box store. This is people's lives, and we're taking them like it's a managerial position. Thankfully, I guess I don't know. I don't even want to speculate. They appointed someone that would not run, and then they opened it up and put it on the ballot for next week. So here I am now, recovering from knee surgery, getting ready to go into another campaign, and it just gets more dramatic from there.
Let's get it more dramatic. I mean, you got to go out in the street with that bad knee. You have to do some handstands with the tutu on and say "Write in Brian Moore." I mean, you got to go to those lengths, man.
Well, luckily now my name is on the ballot. So.
Oh yeah, so there you go.
Yeah. That was a huge step. But they opened it up for everyone to enter. So she entered, of course I entered, and then a politician entered who ran against an incumbent and lost.
Yeah.
And then was like, I'm going to double down. Okay, double down, let's see. And then that's where I saw my dad's wisdom.
Your dad's what?
Wisdom. Like he knew how it could go, and this guy just unlimited resources, it seems, and it's pure politics. Faces everywhere, and any speaking engagement is, here's my resume.
It's got to be maddening, especially when you're not the type of person to play the politics game. Like, I don't think there's any way possible that I could do the politics thing. And I don't want to say playing both sides of the fence, because that's not what I mean. I'm being nice to people you probably wouldn't normally have 3 words for,
And that's why you should.
Say what?
And that's why you shouldn't go into politics.
Should not. Yeah.
That's too easy. That's just way too easy. I've learned way too much from people that no one else would give the time of day. Uh, some old timer or something, and just lay some wisdom down if you just take that second to listen to them and hear that problem. And I always try to put myself in their shoes. And then I try to be that person. Like, if I was this person, how would I want me to be? I'm going to be that person that I would want in that interaction.
Is there one thing, I don't want to say one thing, what sticks out to you the most when you think about what kind of person you want to be? Whether it's something your dad said, something a squad leader said, whatever, like maybe one just piece of advice you got from somebody that you take with you.
To identify one of those, I went much further than that, especially coming out of that one campaign, which you have to answer some hard truths about yourself, of what you were willing to accept. You're trying to control. Some people try to control the image and the view out there, and I don't want to control that. Like, I want to be out there, and that's leadership lessons I've learned throughout. It is the crazier things got. I would always think of the Joker. And like, you remember how things just like when things got really bad, like putting up concertina wire at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And like, when he flipped that switch. And when that guy got on mission, he's going to win no matter what. So when like, I don't want to do something, yeah, think of Rika, think of the Joker. And
I think of that guy so much.
Oh yeah,
just as the way to treat people.
Yes,
the way to talk to people, the way to respect people. You never heard a negative word come out of that guy's mouth towards anybody. Yeah,
if you did, you earned it. Like,
yeah,
if he had a crossword for me, I would have to be like, okay, how am I a jerk? Because he would always call you on it, and that's why I love that guy. That's why he'll always be a brother. And look at his life. I mean, I don't know much of your history, but what a success. I mean, that guy came from nothing. Like, nothing. And knew that hard work and honesty and being humble and living with him, that always resonated. Like, when that guy was on task with something, he never stopped. Like, I can remember him working on stuff, but okay, I'm racking out, and I'd wake up and he's already up and at it. And coaches and teachers, like, I could go line by line with some of the lessons I learned and who taught them to me. And like the fairness. That's my grandmother and my mother. That's growing up in near poverty conditions with a bunch of siblings. Like, everybody's going to get their measure and nothing more, nothing less. And that's ingrained into me. And
how long before you started realizing it and seeing those traits in yourself, before you realized, oh, I got this from this person, and does that make sense?
Yeah, like the last few years, I worked in the pervert police, and the old saying, you don't you don't stare at the abyss and come back the same. And that was a big evil abyss. And coming out of that job, it just made me reevaluate everything. And so just reevaluating failures, like where did I fail? And I've spent, the first 40-some years of my life looking back and trying to see where I failed at things. And it's the wrong aspect. It is the wrong perspective. I mean, always learn from failure, and I engage in failure.
Meaning to sit and harp on your failures rather than, focusing on the next thing you got to do.
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, I just focus like, how did we fail here? What did we not do? And then switch that perspective to, all right, now let's look at times when we were successful. What did I do when I was successful?
Yeah, that comes totally from that. That totally comes from leadership in the military and the other positions you've had as well.
They all fell in comparison. Greatest education I got was in an infantry platoon. Period. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree. Been to dozens of training schools, etc. It all fails in comparison, as education-wise, as I got in the military. And especially the infantry, because, I mean, you know how we're snobs. How we're snobs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because you know what it takes to get there. And knowing that leadership and seeing the teamwork. Look at second and third squad. That was the Rainbow Coalition. Like,
I feel terrible about myself that I can't remember what squad I was in. Was I in your? Were we in the same squad?
We were for a minute.
Yeah,
he was in third.
Damn, Matt, I don't remember anything.
I remember stupid things, man. Nothing. I am like trivia master of useless knowledge.
That's
It's sad.
I can remember if I could remember scenarios, then I remember things. You want to talk about snuggling. You want to talk about snuggling with a certain someone. A 20-degree.
You cemented like there was no ass too big.
No.
That was so miserable. Like I just
no, it was so cold. I was thinking about that was the second time I had snuggled up with another man. In basic training, the drill sergeant made me snuggle up with some guy in his sleeping bag because he was going through hypothermia. I'm like, oh, drill sergeant, come on, really? Sure enough.
Well, I mean, it was almost a habit for us.
Say what?
Almost a habit for us.
Well, I think was it once? I mean, it could have been a once habit.
It was
twice. Whatever.
Because I remember there was one other time. It was like it was a platoon mission or something. And I can remember just like having my show liner, like Linus, looking for you.
Like people don't think it gets cold in Louisiana, but it gets pretty cold.
Coldest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
My first winter got down to 15 degrees down there.
What do your West Virginia winters get like? I've been thinking about coming to visit you there, friend.
Not bad. Ice, more terrain. If we get a quarter mile, it's a drag strip. Live by a ski resort, so we get enough, but there's a lot of man-made snow. But come on, you'll have a blast. It'll be nothing for you. Like the only downside is we have way too many cloudy days. Like Beckley is on this plateau, and there can be sunshine north and south, but we will have a cloudy day. I mean, up to like Seattle numbers of cloudy days.
Well, I'll just see your face and it'll be like the sun is shining anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You were gonna honestly right before the pandemic hit. Brian's like, I think it was planned the next week that you were gonna be here.
Yeah.
In Northern Michigan, coming for a visit, and thanks COVID. Ruined
right.
that. Now you got to focus on election. Say what?
Yeah, and now that that's how fast I went to an election. You want to talk about leadership? like seeing a problem and just saying, all right, we can fix this. We can do this.
Yeah.
Um, and, you know, the Johnny come lately candidate, he went after an incumbent, and I do not know why he went after an incumbent when there was a magistrate facing ethic violations. And now I realize that, you know, it's he's beholden to people. Like, you can't take donations and not be somewhat beholden to someone. I don't care what anyone says. Like, somebody hands you money, they have expectations.
Yeah, I mean, as much as some people don't want to believe it, most people don't just give you money because they like your personality.
No.
You know, they usually want something back.
Yes.
So you've done this thing as grassroots as it can get.
Oh, yes. And people pitch it in, like yourself, school friends that's still in the community, and some that's moved out. It's been an awesome experience. The downside of it is trying to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to talk, though. People need to get to know you, man.
But it's still that small town, and, well, he's just saying that because. Nah.
If there's one thing, if there's one thing you could, you know, one thought that you need to drive home to anybody in Raleigh County, West Virginia that is on the fence.
I'm the only one that's not a politician. I was raised and groomed to be a leader. I didn't realize that growing up, and didn't realize that till I had a son of my own, that, you know, my dad raised me to those standards because that's what he knew. Like, this is how you do it. He raised it like a platoon. And because I could, Ben, enough.
And he's got really well-mannered dogs. Tells you all you need to know right there.
He's getting there. He's getting there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can remember, you know, getting named a team captain in sports. And my dad says, you know, the first rule of leadership is always take care of your people. Rule number one. That's always been rule number one, no matter what. Finn, come here. Enough, buddy. And always be real.
You want to put him on? Put him on. Let him say hi.
Hey, Finn dog.
Oh, look at that guy.
Hey, Finn.
Look at that guy. What kind of dog is that? What a mix of?
I think like a Great Pyrenees.
Ooh.
And a collie, like a border collie or Australian Shepherd.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, he's been awesome. We went without a pup. I was never much.
For how long?
For pups, dogs. But right before me and my wife got married, we got a Basset Hound, and the dog was completely worthless. Other than the funnest person to hang out with. Like,
honestly, don't take us the wrong way because it's meant 100% complimentary. Dogs reflect their owner's personality, and there's never been a more reflective personality with a Basset Hound, man. I mean, it just is.
The level of stubborn, I can't deny. The dog was so stubborn. I'm like, yeah, okay. But yeah.
Dude, what else you want to get out? What else you want people to know about you? I mean, because we could sit here and do Army stories all day.
And,
yeah.
What you see is what you get. I'm gonna be the same regardless. I would never say anything to hurt someone's feelings, but I am going to tell you the truth. Or at least my version of the truth. Now, if you disagree with it and polite and logical, I will listen we'll learn, and we're going to find something that works. I think we've gotten away from that. And secondly, something that just really strikes fear into my heart, and it's a slippery slope of just handing away our freedoms. And just giving up control without question, without regard. And at first I went, how does that happen? Now I see how it happens. No one does anything. The courts do nothing, hold no one accountable. And when that happens, ordinary people's rights are getting pushed to the side for others. And you cannot precede someone's rights for others. I don't care. That's the very fabric of this nation. It's the reason I volunteered Army, volunteered infantry, volunteered airborne, is that basis of your rights. And I don't care what political party you belong to, race, nationality. That is the one thing, that's that one fabric that binds us all together is the Bill of Rights. And then once your rights, however small or large, start getting violated, I think, okay, when are they going to violate mine? And the only way I know to combat that is to run and get elected bannership. Because that's the only thing that's going to save us as a nation, is that fabric and people willing to defend it.
You summed up my thoughts, man. It is local politics that are going to keep us together.
Yes.
And it's guys like you that are going to keep their heads and help pull us out of this craziness that we're in. It's people like you, man. So on Tuesday, best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
We need to get you up in northern Michigan, and I need to do a West Virginia visit.
Definitely.
We'll show each other all the good places.
Come summer, take you whitewater rafting.
I don't want to do anything where I might drown, but I will. I will wear
be like
life
2
jacket.
feet. You can swim the whole thing.
I'm still scared.
How much is fun?
I mean, I will. Of course, I will.
Oh, I know. I
Yeah.
mean, we're going to cry about it and be scared, but we're going to do it. I mean, I'm still afraid of heights. How about you?
Why did you do that? It's like Kirk. It's like Kirk. Kirk tried to explain. He was terrified of heights every time, and I said, "Dude, why are you jumping out? Extra $125 a month." He said.
He was trying to be cool, but if prime example is something that my dad taught me. Are you scared? Okay, it's okay to be scared, but you're going to do it,
Man.
and that first trip, I wasn't scared. The rest, I was. But like this past summer before the knee surgery, I got my son Jake, 6 years old, and started surfing. And set comes in, it's some bigger waves. You want to surf? He's like, yeah. And like he took to it so quickly, and he catches a 6-footer and wipes out, just gets tumbled and comes back. And like I could tell he's trying not to cry. He tries another one, and tries another one, and then I'm like, oh, I probably need to be a dad here, Jake. This is too big for us, man. We need to go in. He's like, I've been waiting, Dad. I was like, were you not scared? He's like, I was scared the whole time. I said, well, that's why we do it.
That's why we do it.
I mean, you can't let fear stop you. I hate public speaking. I've been playing guitar for 2 years. I'm on the side of the road busking for votes. It's got to be done.
You got a video of that? I can embed in this podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Send me the video. I'll put it right in the podcast.
But yeah, it's been a good experience. You know, at this point, I wish it had like another month just to grind it away because I just keep building momentum, and I'm learning when you're right, you don't get tired.
It's a good feeling,
It
isn't it?
is.
Yeah.
My wife might kill me though. She had me so well trained.
You honestly be happy that it's not lasting another month. So on Tuesday, I have a feeling you will be the new magistrate of Raleigh County, West Virginia, Brian Moore.
Smitty, brother, I appreciate it, man. It's so good to see you.
You are easily one of my favorite humans of all time, and
you are too.
We need to see each other in person and drink some adult beverages together.
Sounds like a winner.
And it's a blast talking to you, blast seeing your face.
You got to pay the jack tax though.
Yeah. No.
That's what you taught me my first weekend in the 509.
What did I teach you?
You got Macero's truck. You came to me, like you were the first person that was nice to me. You're like, hey man, it's the first 4-day weekend. You're cherry. Here's a solid. You need to go pick up a keg of beer. I don't have wheels. He says, it's already taken care of. And roll out. And we're there and we're getting ready to check out. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, if this guy's going to roll me, let him roll me. And then we're getting ready to walk out. You're like, oh no, you forgot the jack tax. I'm like, jack tax? You're like, yeah. For every keg of beer, you got to get a bottle of Jack. Platoon rules. I didn't make these.
I apparently don't have any recollection of anything when I was at a Giant Dick.
Oh, no, you were awesome. You're the only person to talk to me. Like I'm in second quad. Like you got Meldrum, who was like original Magic Mike.
Was it your car? Was it your car that you let me borrow?
Yes.
That was your car that I would borrow on occasion.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think I ever messed that up, did I?
Oh yeah, y'all messed it up horribly.
Did I? Man.
Oh no, but it was all good. Cause y'all camped out.
Okay.
Y'all camped out like it was.
I remember I threw a Creed CD out of your car. It was for some reason I loved the Should Have Been Dead on a Sunday Morning song, and I'm like, so I bought the CD and I put it in. I'm like, well, this is garbage, and I just like threw it out the window somewhere in Louisiana doing 55 miles an hour.
I sold that car before I left Fort Polk to a guy that just got married for a 6-pack of Michelob and $1.
And what?
And $1. Yeah, it seemed legit.
What kind of car was that? It was awesome. I loved it.
Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
It was a beast. Oh, that car was awesome.
Nope, it was a fun car. I probably broke the law on it.
And we did all right.
Yeah.
All one I ever worried about was Northrop.
I worried about him and can we just start saying names? Sanako?
Oh yeah.
Worried about that guy.
That guy was like, he was one of those guys that like he taught me the lesson of don't misjudge someone.
No, because you want to talk about a guy who everybody thought was the biggest nerd in the world, would just sit in his room, play video games, not see anybody, but then is the most badass soldier when you get him out doing stuff.
This dude was a stud. I mean, he looked like a walking pear. Like compared to everyone else. I mean, just studs and like, oh my gosh, this dude's a stud. And once I learned that, I'm like, I learned a lot from that guy.
So many people. There's so many people I learned stuff from.
Yeah, he taught me the ways of the E4 Mafia.
Ways to what?
The E4 Mafia.
The E4 Mafia.
I had to play it. I spent my last year as the Colonel's driver.
As what?
As the Colonel's driver.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Guess what? Never did a board for it. Never Soldier of the Month. Pulled it out, E4 Mafia.
So the last year, did you even go out in the field?
Oh yeah, it was great.
Okay.
Talk about learning experience. That's a podcast in itself for that guy.
When we went to Korea, it was Maxwell and Kirk and I. We went to the same platoon in Korea. And I remember when we got there, we just were all stoked. We all thought we were getting cush driver positions. And we ended up in the support platoon. Well, I'm like, well, this sucks. Oops.
Too many 509ers burned that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take 509ers and send them, like, you got to ease them back into the regular army. Like, you can't.
It's not, no, because I remember Kirk, and I remember that being like me saying that there's certain people that they got in the army to do infantry stuff, where, I was kind of psyched that I wasn't doing infantry stuff because I was kind of ready to get out of it. I'm just like, dude, I don't want to deal with the a-holes,
And
and I remember him just saying, I want to do infantry stuff, man. Like, I don't want to do this. And he transferred. I'm like, you're totally right. You're totally right.
You want to talk about a leader, that guy. Captain Kirk, I'd have done anything. I'd do anything for that guy.
He's another favorite human.
Yeah, I mean, he was just so level-headed about everything. And talking about, like, I never saw the guy rattled, ever.
He's the most even keel.
Yeah, it's like
ever.
Like I remember seeing him fall, and he made it cool.
Get out of here, cat. You got your dog, I got my cat.
Oh, I got Sal around here somewhere. I got Salvatore, my cat. He's my concierge.
I think I'm about to run out of time on here, so we'll close this.
Sounds good, brother. I love seeing your face, man.
Brian, I wish you the best of luck on Tuesday, and let's see each other again at some point soon.
Let's do it. Can't wait to do it in person.
Right. Yeah, that needs to happen. I got my trip all planned out, actually.
Excellent.
All right, man.